After weeks of swirling rumors surrounding the upcoming wedding of popular actor Lee and his longtime partner Kim, actress Song Hye has finally addressed the speculation, offering a calm and sincere perspective that has captivated both fans and the media. Speaking during a charity event in Seoul, Song Hye expressed gratitude for her fans' unwavering support and acknowledged the public's interest in her alleged connection to Lee. With elegance and composure, she addressed the situation, making it clear where she stands. "There's been a lot of chatter recently," she said with a soft smile. "I remember Lee once mentioned in an interview that I was his ideal type. It was a kind remark, and I appreciated it. But admiring someone and building a life with them are two very different things." Song Hye's words highlighted a sense of maturity, drawing a respectful boundary between admiration and emotional connection. She spoke warmly of Kim, emphasizing her deep-rooted relationship with Lee. "Kim has been part of Lee's life for so long," Song Hye noted. "She's been there through both calm and chaos. What they have is more than a romance, it's a partnership grounded in understanding and resilience." Clarifying any lingering doubts, Song Hye firmly denied any romantic ties with Lee. "I respect both of them immensely. Their loyalty to each other is something to be admired," she stated. When asked about her personal relationship with Lee, she answered thoughtfully, "We've crossed paths professionally a few times. He's a kind and gifted person, but that's the extent of it. I've always known his heart was spoken for." Fans worldwide have reacted with a mix of emotions. Some had been intrigued by the idea of a possible relationship between Song Hye and Lee. However, candid remarks have largely been met with praise for their dignity and honesty. As the wedding date nears, it's evident that Lee and Kim's bond is built on time-tested trust and devotion. Meanwhile, Song Hye continues to be a symbol of grace, knowing when to speak her truth and when to step aside. In her final words, she summed up her feelings with poise. "People often confuse admiration with love. But love, the kind that endures, is what Lee and Kim share. I'm genuinely happy for them and wish them all the best in their life together." With that, Song Hye offered not only clarity but a heartfelt message that resonated far beyond the rumors, one of respect, understanding, quiet strength. Though Song Hye firmly denied any romantic involvement with Lee, her words left space for something deeper, an emotional complexity that hinted at unspoken feelings. While she maintained her characteristic grace, those close to the actress say her admiration for Lee may have gone beyond casual appreciation. In a quiet moment during the interview, Song Hye's eyes softened when asked if she ever had feelings for him. She paused before answering, her voice tinged with a delicate honesty. "Feelings aren't always black and white," she said gently. "There are connections that don't fit into neat labels. I won't pretend he didn't leave an impression on me. Sometimes, someone enters your life, even briefly, and they stay with you, not because of romance, but because they awaken something inside you." Insiders close to the actress suggest that Song Hye had, at one time, harbored deeper emotions for Lee. Describe her admiration not as infatuation, but as a quiet, enduring respect, a silent affection rooted in the way he carried himself, his dedication to his work, his loyalty to the people he loved. "She never pursued anything," one longtime friend shared. "But yes, I think she cared for him, deeply. Maybe in another life, under different circumstances, things might have been different." But Song is the kind of person who knows when love means letting go. Song Hye herself hinted at this bittersweet reality. "There's a kind of love that doesn't demand anything in return," she said. "It's not loud or dramatic. It's just there, quietly cheering for someone from afar. That's how I feel about him. I never needed to be a part of his story, I just wanted him to be happy." These tender revelations have only deepened the public's admiration for her. Many have commented on her emotional maturity, how she navigates her own feelings, without bitterness or regret. Song Hye's love, though unfulfilled, speaks of the rare kind of affection that puts the happiness of the other person first. As Lee and Kim prepare to begin a new chapter in their lives, Song Hye remains a quiet guardian of the past, a woman whose silent devotion may never be fully known, but will always be remembered for its sincerity. Yet despite her composed demeanor and words filled with closure, something in Song Hye's expression hinted at an unfinished story, one that perhaps only she truly knows. Sources close to the industry have whispered for years about fleeting moments shared between Song Hye and Lee Min-ho. From the cameras, a shared glance at a film festival, an unplanned conversation backstage. Nothing confirmed, nothing dramatic, just moments. But sometimes, that's all it takes to leave a lasting mark. One former assistant on a joint promotional campaign recalled a particularly telling encounter. We were on set late at night, everyone was exhausted. Lee was sitting alone, looking out at the city lights. Then Song Hye came over, sat beside him without saying a word. They didn't talk. They just stood together in silence. It was strangely powerful. You could feel the connection, even if it was unspoken. It is this unspoken quality that has fascinated the public. What if theirs was a bond too fragile to name, too sacred to risk? When asked if she ever imagined a future with Lee, even for a fleeting second, Song Hye offered a small, knowing smile. Another universe, maybe. But in this one, we have our roles to play. Mine was never to be the heroine in his love story, but perhaps I was meant to be a quiet chapter, one he reads back on, fondly, when no one is watching. Her words, poetic and mysterious, only fueled further speculation. Is there more to the story? Had Song Hye sacrificed a chance at love for the sake of loyalty, to Kim, to her own values, to a version of love that demanded nothing? As the wedding date draws closer, fans find themselves wondering, did Lee Min-ho ever truly know the depth of what Song Hye felt? Or did she protect him from the knowledge, carrying her love like a hidden letter never meant to be read? Whatever the truth may be, Song Hye has once again reminded the world that sometimes, the most powerful love stories are the ones that never unfold. And in that silence, there lies a beauty no spotlight can capture. Days before Lee Min-ho and Kim's much anticipated wedding, a private event brought an unexpected turn. Was a closed-door gathering hosted by a renowned director, an intimate affair celebrating the cast of an upcoming project. Among the attendees were Lee and Song Hye. It was the first time they had been seen in the same room in months. No cameras, no reporters, just a quiet rooftop under the Seoul skyline. Witnesses described the atmosphere as charged, yet strangely peaceful. Song Hye arrived late, dressed in understated elegance. Lee, already engaged in conversation, paused when he saw her. A brief moment, the noise faded. No one dared interrupt. According to a source who was present that night, the two eventually stepped away to a quieter corner, where they spoke in hushed tones for nearly 15 minutes. No one knows exactly what was said, the source admitted. But when they came back, Lee looked different. Not sad. Not happy either. Just haunted, maybe. What could have been spoken in that fleeting, private moment? A final goodbye? A confession? Or perhaps just an acknowledgement of what was, and what could never be. Later that evening, Song Hye was seen leaving alone. Eyes slightly glassy under the soft light. She did not stay for the toast. Back at the venue, Lee returned to the group and raised his glass with a practiced smile. But when he spoke, his voice cracked just slightly. To love that lasts, he said, pausing, and the courage to know when to let go. The words were simple, yet those who knew the history couldn't help but feel the weight behind them. And now, with the wedding only days away, the world watches not just with celebration, but with a curious ache. Did Lee finally come to understand what Song Hye had hidden so well for so long? And if so, was it too late? As the lights dimmed that evening and guests filtered out into the Seoul night, one thing became clear. Some stories never get told out loud, but they live on, in memories, in glances, in the space between what was said and what was meant. In a world dazzled by grand gestures and dramatic endings, the story of Song Hye stands as a quiet reminder that not all love stories are meant to be lived out loud. Some are written in glances, in fleeting silences. The courage it takes to feel deeply, but step away gracefully. Lee Min-ho and Kim now begin their journey as husband and wife, their love tested by time, shaped by loyalty, and admired by many. But somewhere in the backdrop of their fairy tale, Song Hye remains a symbol of grace, of love unspoken, yet never diminished. Her strength was not in what she said, in what she chose not to say. Her final gesture wasn't a confession, but a blessing. Perhaps, in that, She taught us the most profound truth of all, that sometimes, the deepest love is the one that lets go. Thank you. Thank you for following this emotional journey, a story of love, silence, and quiet bravery. Whether you saw yourself in Song Hye, in Lee, or simply felt moved by the weight of what was never said, your presence here matters. Some stories end not with a bang, but with a whisper, and still, they echo for a lifetime. Thank you for